Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Friday, July the 16th. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. And as always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So let's take a look at the weekly chart. And we can see, according to the dashboard, all the weekly open gaps have filled. And right now, the pound dollar is 127 pips below the weekly open, 148 pips off of the high, and only 1 pip now too off of the low. So it looks like the pound has definitely moved down this week. So anybody trading the weekly open or the upper weekly rat zone should have made a nice profit. And when we drop down into the day, we see something very interesting. Today, we crossed into the opening range for the week and crossed below it, which then meant we crossed into the opening range for the month. Through the monthly open, we're down 62 pips off that monthly open. And you can see we're only 10 pips above the monthly low, or below the opening range for the month. That opening range low, not the monthly low. We're actually a little bit higher on the monthly low. 121 pips above the weekly open. And you can see here for the past 4 weeks, price has basically been ranging during the week. Inside bar, we had one 2 days ago. Yesterday, we broke out slightly to the north, to the upside for about 0.6 pips, and right now we're 38 pips below the inside bar low from 2 days ago. So inside bar traders were paid off once again. 101 pips range today. You can see we broke out of the previous day's low there at 138.04, crossing the 138.00, and price has been heading down ever since. We took out the pivot point. Those of you trading, fading the pivot, paid off. Buy zone paid off to the upside, and the short or sell zone paid off to the downside. Sometimes you have to take some pips quickly before the market takes it back, something we always say. Green rats, well, right now I'm probably not thinking about the green rat zone because there's only about an hour, I think, left in the trading day, maybe only a half an hour. I think my broker closes at 2300 server time. So not looking for much of a reversal in the green rat zone. But the red rats paid off because we put in a daily low, put in a daily high, and you can see that that rat zone would have been in effect. So there was definitely pips to be had. So red rats got fat today. And looking at the pivot trading plan, the open below the pivot had a short bias. Not many ticks happening at the moment. So once again, we took out the pivot. Didn't quite get near R1, but near the pivot was short, and that paid off, and it actually went right through S1. So moderately bear was an overlapping LV type pivot. And if you're wondering about that indicator, it's just a TRO pivot trading plan, which I found somebody had a pivot trading plan, so I coded it up. And it's one of the ones you can download. It should be in a mother load. And once again, we took out the pivot, so no missed pivots this week. We have to go back to June 17, 2021 to find a daily missed pivot. We took out the weekly, but we haven't taken out the monthly yet. So 139.53 is that monthly pivot. And we've got about half the month left, so we can see what happens. In and out of the upper wick zone, in and out of the lower wick zone. Wick zone traders, once again, were paid off. And we discussed that, I think, a couple days ago about during the lines in the sand discussion. So, traders, you just have to trade what you see. But you can put the line anywhere. I've proven that. You can use random lines. It doesn't matter. You just trade what you see. Have your risk management in place, your money management in place. But we talk about brain management, which maybe I should also have one that's closely related, maybe a subset of, called emotional management. It's real easy to get emotional when trading, and I fall victim to it probably once or twice a week. Example, I'll be in a trade and the trade goes against me, and I'm sitting in the trade, and then what'll happen is, and Walmart and I like to joke about it, if I'd only waited an hour. So for example, maybe if I would have shorted, say, about here, and then price went up and then it came back down, and if I had only waited an hour, I'd be getting in and I'd probably catch the ride. But since I had that emotional roller coaster, it's going against me. As soon as I get it, I can get maybe a pip or two out, and then out of that trade, I'll take it because maybe it'll come back, hit my, right at the break even, go up a pip or two, stop. So I'll just punch out. The next thing I know, maybe it'll drop like a rock, and then I'll be kicking myself. But that's part of that emotional roller coaster that you just have to stop. One, I could have set my stop loss closer instead of taking that long ride. Or two, I could have just waited maybe for a better entry. But sometimes, some of that's hindsight, the good old Harry hindsight. But then again, you can take that hindsight, write down what happened, see if you can take something there, add it to your trading plan, so the next time you get in a similar situation, you go, you know what, I'm not going to do it. Because we all know what happens. You get in a trade, you set your stop loss, price hits your stop loss, comes back to your entry, takes off, and you didn't re-enter. So the question is, why not? Was it because you lost the first time? Why is that level no longer a valid entry if it was just a valid entry, a few minutes ago or a few hours ago? Why is that no longer a valid entry? You have to have rules around that. You have to, have a trading plan around that. Because you really have to wonder why, if it was a valid entry at one point in time, it's not another. Was it the H1 candle color was red one time and green the other? Well, that's valid. But if it's more of an emotional thing, you gotta get over that. You just really have to get over that. On the weekly, the smart range template, I made a change. I used to look at 100, but I switched it to 12 for a couple of reasons. One, it was skewing the data, because if you look back 100 days or 100 weeks, 100 weeks is, that's what? Almost 2 years worth of data. What happened 2 years ago really isn't that pertinent. But, 12 weeks, that's only 3 months. That's a season. That's more pertinent. Or 12 days, that's what, a week and a half. That takes into consideration. That's a close enough time frame to let you know where price is, because everything's relative. And when you look at it from over 100 days, you might, this number, I think what made me change it was, I think it was around 1 or something. And it's just like, that just didn't seem like it was giving me the information I needed. So here we can see it's over the past 12 days, this is at the 16th percentile. So that's pretty low. It's telling me, this was definitely a compressed week over the last 12 weeks. probably there's only one less than it. Of course, in the smart range indicator, if you want to, you can tell how many bars you want displayed, and I just use 5. But you can have it, you can have the last 24, however many lines you can fit on your screen of to make your comparison. So for example, here, the range at 101 on the daily, we're at the 58th percentile. So we're somewhere in the middle. Even though the average range 93, we're above average, but we're just only 8% over the or in the 58th percentile. So we're just 8% over the midpoint. And so you can see at 105, that's 2/3 of the way. So, and you can look here, well, that's a weekly bar. And this, we're looking at the dailies right there. But here over in the weekly, the range 149, 16th percentile. So you can see here over the past couple of weeks, or past 3 weeks, it's dropping down in range. Or actually, past 4 weeks. We had that big bar, and range has steadily gone down. High minus previous high, we had a 12 pip breakout. Previous low minus low, we didn't break it, as you can see right here. Last week was an inside bar. Once again, we did break it to the upside. High minus close for you red rats, 147. Close minus low for you green rats, only 2. So it looks like we're probably not going to have a 20 pip move off the bottom of the weekly. And it happens like that sometimes. That's just the way trading goes. Doesn't mean the method's invalidated, because you can see the previous week we had a 150 pip move. Walmall traders. Once again, as Walmall explained yesterday, price is going to range, and during certain hours, it's going to range more than other hours. And, during these times here, it's when Walmall's trading and taking advantage of those movements. And I know there's some traders out there, I don't even know if they're trading real money or not, but they spend a lot of time posting and putting forth debates and arguments and discussions when, it's real simple. Just trade. Either it works for you or it doesn't. But to say this, that, and the other, it's like telling a bumblebee he can't fly because, based on theory and the size of his body compared to the surface area of the wings, he can't fly. Meanwhile, he flies and stings you. So, I mean, really, traders, rather than spend all that time and effort, with these long, discussions, simply trade and figure out how you can make it work for you. But the only way you can really make it work for you is you put a trade on, you manage the risk, you manage the money, you manage your emotions, your brain. That's trading. You can throw all the statistics out. You can throw all the squiggly line indicators out. You can throw it all out. The fact of the matter is, you could put a bunch of traders in a room, and somebody, hits a button, and they're all in a trade. They're all in the same trade, either long or short. Some of those traders are going to make money. Some of those traders will probably lose money. Some will lose a little. Some will lose a lot. So, when you make everything equal like that, then you can see who the trader is. In fact, that gave me an idea. Maybe I'll put that on cam and we'll find out who can trade under those circumstances. So, fellow traders, that wraps up the week. I hope you had a profitable week. I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back and sit down at your trading platform, if you're a Reddit member, sign up for that Never Lose Again Reddit subreddit. And always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.